The end doors of the Uni-Level car are trifold design. Each door is equipped with a long and a short vertical lock rod assembly. The lock rod handles are the same as those used on the end doors of semi-trailers. The cams and keepers at the ends of the lock rods are the same as used for trailer doors, except that the upper keepers on the long lock rods are of special design to reduce mislocking. K-brackets are at the top and bottom of the door opening, and the guide pins mounted at the top and bottom of the door assist with the door closing operation. Fittings accepting a 3/4-inch drive tool, same as is used for auto rack end doors, are used to operate an auxiliary locking feature. Before approaching the car, all site operating procedures must be reviewed and followed. All handbrakes must be applied before opening the doors. To open doors. Step 1. Remove all locks and seals from the lock hasps on the doors. Care should be taken not to damage the hasps when removing the seals. Rotate the lock hasp to the open position. Step 2. Release the auxiliary lock by rotating the 3/4-inch socket to disengage the locking plunger inside the car. While continuing to hold the auxiliary lock open, disengage the cams. The auxiliary lock can also be opened from inside the car by using the operating handle to raise the plunger out of the receptacle hole in the flat car deck. Caution: the auxiliary lock will bind if the lock rod is rotated before disengaging the auxiliary lock. Step 3. Next, rotate the short lock rod with the handle to disengage the cam at the bottom. Step 4. Doors must always be restrained to prevent unwanted movement from the doors catching the wind and unexpectedly swinging. There are 2 methods to restrain the doors. Method 1. The trifold doors are nested together and latched. The trifold door is locked in place at 90 degrees by using the slide bar. To properly nest the door panels together, the lock rod handles must be rotated tight to the door, and all hasps must be in the down position. The door panels must be hooked together using the small steel loops attached to the door handles. Method 2. Door can also be rotated to the fully open position without nesting. The black door rotation stops on the 2 lower hinges must be rotated to the up position to allow the door to rotate past the 90-degree position. The door must be restrained with a small steel loop to the car side. The doors can catch the wind and swing unexpectedly. The doors must be latched in the open position to prevent unexpected swinging in the wind. As soon as the doors are opened and safely secured, the receiver should verify that the car contains both bridge plates, both bridge plate pins, and all 16 sets of chocks and harnesses. Any shortages should be reported immediately to TTX Company to prevent being charged for missing items. Doors are not equipped with ladders and cannot be used to enter or exit the car. Closing the doors. Before closing the doors, the shipper should verify that the car contains both bridge plates, both bridge plate pins, and all 16 sets of chocks and harnesses to prevent being charged for missing items. When closing the doors and facing the end of the car, close the right-hand door first. Step 1. Disengage the small steel loops used to secure the door open. If slide bar was used to hold the door open, return the slide bar fully to its disengaged position. If the door is rotated to the fully open position, make sure the door rotation stops at the 2 lower hinges are in the up position. Step 2. Close the panel attached to the door hinges to the end of the car and secure it in place with short lock rod, rotating the handle until the cam is secure in the keeper at the bottom. The handle should be secured in the locking hasps. Step 3. Rotate the door so that the upper and lower guide pins are guided into the K brackets at the top and the bottom of the door opening. Make certain the upper guide pin is engaged and rotate the long lock rod, making sure both the upper and lower cams are properly locking in their keepers. The handle should be secured in the locking hasps. Step 4. Make sure that the auxiliary lock pins engage the holes in the deck of the flat car when closing the end door. When the door is closed, the auxiliary lock pin will drop into the receptacle hole under the force of the spring. Make sure all door cams are properly engaged and the door guide pins are properly positioned in the K brackets. Do not move the car without all doors properly closed. Always close and lock all doors at the end of the working day. If you have problems or questions, please call TTX at 1-800-TTX-HELP.